First cultivated in the Andes around modern-day Bolivia and Peru some 7,000 years ago, the potato was exported by colonizers back to the Old World. Now they grow in places like this. It's hard to imagine, but this land was once wild before we transformed it to satisfy our growing population's need for food. In working the land to grow food, we cut down trees, tilled the soil, sprayed the fields with pesticides, with herbicides, and used petroleum-powered machines to harvest crops. By engaging in these activities, our history and the history of the planet have become interconnected as humans have become geological agents, capable of leaving a mark in the stratigraphy of the Earth and changing how the very nature of the biosphere operates. Why do we allow the land where the potato is grown to be transformed by humans and sprayed with any number of chemicals, but are so impassioned to protect the areas considered to be pristine wilderness, such as the national parks? Maybe our distinctions are arbitrary. Maybe we should abandon the dualism between wilderness and non-wilderness and embrace the totality of nature. But it's winter now in Canada, and the season for potatoes is over. What this means is the potatoes we saw had to be shipped here. Much of our produce, like potatoes for Albertans in winter, needs to be shipped to us as part of a global supply chain for food. And it's not just food. Supply chains in many domains have become increasingly global. If a good is seasonally unavailable in a local climate, like the potato in a Canadian winter, we do not need to change our desires. Rather, the product is shipped in from other climatic regions. The greenhouse gases emitted by the transport of these food products has serious environmental impacts. We North Americans are chasers of freedom. We want what we want when we want it. Ground frozen in the dead of winter, no store potatoes, no matter, it can be shipped. This high-octane, energy-intensive freedom is what has led humans to usher in the Anthropocene. Now that the potato is shipped, it needs to be purchased. How we acquire potatoes under capitalism, including the embodied experience of purchasing potatoes, will affect what we can think about potatoes. According to Karl Marx, the material basis and mode of production influence the ideas that can be formed within a society. This means one's view of a potato under capitalism will be different than one's view of a potato as an Andean subsistence farmer who grows their own potatoes. Under capitalism, societies are structured under division of labor, where people work in very specific roles in exchange for money with which they can purchase other goods which they did not produce themselves, such as the teacher purchasing potatoes. In this economic system, the teacher is likely to be quite detached from the production of potatoes. Consequently, her thoughts about the potato and agriculture in general will be influenced by capitalism. The experience of engaging in the capitalist system is also an embodied reality. The purchaser of potatoes cannot disassociate the context of the supermarket from the identity of the potato. For the purchaser, the potato is, in effect, a supermarket potato, phenomenologically distinct from the soil of our garden potato. One cannot disassociate the context of the object from its surroundings. That is, the environment in which the object is found becomes inextricably linked to the object's identity. Consequently, one's lived experience in relation to the potato is dictated by capitalism on the level of ideas. Before anyone could eat these potatoes, they needed to be farmed on Earth, transformed by machines and chemicals. They needed nutrients, time, and a knowledgeable farmer. They needed to be shipped hundreds of kilometers by truck and trailer. They needed to be prepared and cooked by an individual. In many ways, the story of these potatoes is a story of how humans perceive and impact the world around them. Or maybe it's just a story about potatoes.